Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our three-part series on building a spiritual business. I'm Julianne Victoria of Through the Peacock's Eyes.
And I'm Melinda from Changelicious, also known as Mademoiselle Tarot.
And in this second part, we're going to continue on from the part one and talk about your spiritual why or your business why or both of that. Why are you building a spiritual business? How do you want to build a spiritual business? And what do you want to offer your clients?
Yes, on the first part, we talked about what drives you, what keeps you motivated, why do you want to engage in this type of business, and after you get clear on this, is what are you actually offering? Is it services? Is it products? Is it offline? Is it online?
Mm-hmm.
And what kind of clients would you like to work with?
Yeah. And I think it's important to ask yourself, do you want to build an in-person practice, an in-person business? And then ask yourself again, what do you want to offer? Do you want to offer tarot readings? Do you want to offer crystal healing? Or do you want to build your business online, or both?
Mm-hmm.
And how much time and energy do you have to invest in all of that? And as you do that, you need to ask yourself, what is your service worth?
Yes. And talking about worth, from what I observe, there's so many spiritual people out there and so many offers, and they are at a very low price. And that makes me actually very sad, because for me, it's just a reflection on how they value their own product or service. Like, why would you charge a reading for only $5 if you invest an hour into a reading and actually helping a client to change his or her perspective on a life issue?
Right. And then you also have to ask yourself, is that sustainable?
Mm-hmm.
If you're starting to build a business on $5 readings for an hour, first look, what's the actual time investment? It's more than an hour. It's setting up how you're meeting, the emailing or the calling back and forth. Often readings go over time. There's the follow-up questions that may come afterwards. Can you live off of, let's say, $5 for 2 hours of work?
And do the clients actually value your reading at its actual value, because you only charge $5 or $10?
Yeah. So what is sustainable? What is your worth? What is your service worth? What is the value? And as you value yourself, so the client will value you.
And I think it's very difficult at the beginning. Like, when you're just starting, you're not sure. You don't know. Maybe you didn't have a great response or feedback yet, and you can't really estimate what's the best pricing. So I think it's good to start at a maybe lower rate, but not so low that you can't sustain yourself or the business.
Exactly. Because if it's too low, you're going to lose interest and motivation, because you'll be burnt out from the amount of time put into doing readings.
Mm-hmm.
But it is true, when you're starting a business, don't start charging, what a famous author charges, which I feel is too much anyway. But look around, see what people in your area are charging, or if your business is online, see what other people are charging. Maybe have a little bit lower rate, or do first-time client discounts, which is a great way to build business. And you reach out to more people, you actually practice your service as well, and you get more confident, and you get a better understanding of what your worth is. But I would stress, don't undervalue yourself.
Yes, and
You won't value your business.
From my experience, the first experiences I gained were in exchange of testimonials. So of course it's free work, and I know it's maybe controversial, but you have a feedback. You can, if you want to post the testimonials or show them to other clients so that they can be reassured, and it's a win-win after all, especially if you're getting started.
Yeah. Which is another reason why having, social media online is people leave comments, and you can actually see those comments as testimonials as well. And that can help you, gain confidence in your sense of value of what you're offering to other people.
Yes. And speaking of value, I think what type of values actually or do you actually have? Like, what are your ethics? What are your boundaries? Those are important topics we wanted to discuss in this second part, because they define your work. What kind of values do you have, or what type of maybe boundaries or values do you live by, or does your business work?
And if this is your first time developing a business, you may not know. So for me, I just took my ethics from my healing business and put it into the continuation of including tarot and astrology and life coaching. But it can be challenging. So for people starting out, let's say you want to build a tarot business, and often to practice, to learn the tarot, you start reading for friends and family members. But once you start charging, they may not want to pay. And there is, there's a boundary issue reading for friends and families as well, because they may not respect what you have to say or the messages that come through. So for example, if your big brother is getting a reading from you, you're just his kid sister who's just saying stuff, and he's not going to value the message that comes through. So those are things to think about. And then there's boundaries with clients. So, many of us readers are very empathic. We're very compassionate. We want to help the client, but you can't be the client's best friend and their spiritual guide in some way. So it's important to have those boundaries, to know where that boundary line is.
I think it's interesting what you just said about the family readings of reading for friends. So yes, I think you need to understand the dynamics. Are you reading for friends because you are still learning, or is it because they respect you as a grown reader already? I learned tarot from my mother. So over the years, our dynamic switched once I left home, and we didn't have our day in, day out, like life together. She actually respected me as her tarot reader as well. So this is nice, but it doesn't always work out like that. And as for the boundaries or the ethics, me personally, for instance, I don't read tarot. I don't read health issues with tarot. I don't feel comfortable with this because I'm not, as you a practitioner, or I don't have the background to actually feel safe with this type of advice. So for me, it's very clear from the beginning. I don't read about health. I don't read about death. I don't read about like lifespan or anything in this type of nature.
And that's important to know as you start your business. What are you not comfortable with? Because if you're not comfortable with it, you won't give a good reading. Yes. It'll be difficult. And, if you do choose to read about health, and I do look at health, I'm more comfortable with it. I come from a healing background. I've studied all sorts of healing modalities. And, there is that, always put the disclaimer out there, you're not a doctor.
Yes.
And, recommend them, it looks like there's issues, let's say, with your throat. Go see a doctor, something comes up, and take care of it. And it's easier to look at health with astrology because there's specific houses that look at health, and I'm comfortable with that. But yeah, like you, Melinda, some people are not comfortable with it. So I don't predict death, though.
Yeah.
I will point out if there's indicators in astrology for a very long life, but I will not predict someone's death because I don't think we're supposed to know that.
And it's scary. Nobody wants to know.
No one wants to say, oh no. Yeah, I wouldn't bring that up.
And also, yes, I think there is a certain responsibility when clients come to you on a regular basis to also watch out for them. Like if you have someone who really obsesses about a topic, like comes back every 10 days or every month, then it's in my responsibility to let the client know that we need to have a break.
Yeah, that's a good, another boundary point. Sometimes it's only happened a few times for me where a client wants a tarot reading really regularly. And I may let it, 2 or 3 times, depending on the length. But if it continues on, I've actually stopped the client and said, you need to let the messages, listen to the messages. You need to let the readings sink in, decide if you want to take action, because I had one client who kept wanting readings for a year. She'd stop for a while, and then it'd be a few readings all in a row. And then eventually I said, you can't have any more readings till next summer or something like that. I think I gave her 6 months because the messages kept repeating. It was the same message every time. Her questions were all the same. And I was not helping her. So if I feel I'm not helping someone, I need to respect that and basically put up a boundary and say, no, you need to give it a break, give it a rest. I can't prevent a client from seeing someone else and doing the same thing, but I need to put that boundary there. I'm not helping you. If I'm not helping someone, I'm going to stop.
Yes. And I also, as for me, I expect from a client, since we have live sessions, like I do readings via Skype, so I need and I want to have a dialogue, because when we discuss and the client actually clarifies, I can go much deeper and work better with the client. With the YouTube videos, it's one-sided. I do the reading and I get the feedback via thumbs up or comments, but this is a different type of reading. If I have someone face-to-face, I really want to talk to this person and not have someone passive just listening. But that's something I expect from a client, and I let them know right from the beginning.
I would say I don't have expectations of clients. And for those of you out there thinking of building a spiritual business, I mean, you can set expectations. You have to make it clear to the client. But because I do readings, I do recorded readings, I do email readings, which there's no interaction. But I do Skype and FaceTime and in-person readings as well. Yeah, I haven't set expectations. I have to be flexible. I have to be able to read without client feedback. But if I get it, it's great. I don't require people getting video readings from me to even tell me anything. Unless it's a relationship reading, I need a first name. I don't need birth date. I read through the email they send. That's how I connect to them. But I don't require anything of them. But if they want to, if a client wants to give me the background of the situation they want advice on, I can actually get much more specific because I can get to those details. But the messages you need to hear will come through either way.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So I guess it's up to the individual. Do you want expectations for clients? And then, of course, set your boundaries for clients. You know, I had a friend of mine who's a tarot reader. I've known her for maybe 15 years now. And, she has a limit on how, like, you can email me one question after the reading. Because I think she would get people who kept asking more and more questions. And I haven't had to draw a line there. My clients have been pretty good. But occasionally I will get someone to ask lots of questions. And if it's going to take me an hour to answer those, if this happens to someone out there, then you have to say, please request another reading, because that's another hour of your time answering all those questions. So keep that in mind.
About know your energy level. I once read at a spirit fair. I don't know if you say fair, like where you have type of readers and offers and speakers and everything. And I was booked for 4 days, and I was glad we came as a team, because when they're like, for me, I can't do 5 readings in a row. It's too much for me. So because of the practice, I now know how much I can handle per day. And this is important too. Like, if you only want to do 3 readings, that's totally fine. You just need to respect your own limits then.
Yeah, it's important to set your time and energy boundaries. So for me, let's say a half-hour reading, I know that's really an hour with the client, because there's the email exchange before, that's me preparing for the reading, there's any follow-up questions by email. But I found that, just through my experience, that it's really the number of clients I'm working with where I need to set my limit versus the hours in a day I'm doing readings. And so for me, more than 4 client interactions, even if it's just a recorded video, because I'm tapping into someone's energy, and that takes a lot of energy out of me, will exhaust me. So I have my limit. Although when I'm making, say, the monthly tarot scopes for YouTube, I often record 6 of those at once. And it's exhausting. It's very exhausting. But it's a big time consuming project to do all those videos. So I let my boundaries slide a little bit there. But do know your energy and your time boundaries. What works for you? Can you only do, 3 readings a day? Or can you only do 3 half-hour readings a day? Can you do 10-hour readings a day? That's a lot. That most people, that will be completely exhausting. But do you do readings 1 day a week? So you do a whole bunch at once, and then you have a few days off where you go to a job where it's fairly easy and it doesn't take a lot of energy.
And this is important since it's your business. So according to the number of readings, you will get paid. So if you only do 3 readings a day, then where does the rent come from? Like all those type of questions, you just need to have answers to those type of questions.
Yeah. So
offers that are out there, and
so that ties in with, what is your service worth?
Yes. Totally.
And what is the energy consumption worth? What is your time worth? But again, do keep in mind the other work involved with a reading. That's not the actual time of the reading. How much time do you need to get grounded and settled? Some people meditate before doing readings. How much time do you need after? How much time do you allow for follow-up questions the next day, the day after? And, and of course it depends, are they in-person clients? Are they video? So understand the time it takes and set your boundaries. What can I do in a day? How much can I do in a week? And you may need to experiment. So you may do too much and exhaust yourself, and you realize you have no energy for readings the next week, and you adjust accordingly.
Yes. Yeah. Especially in the beginning.
Yes. And you are able to do more and more as time goes on.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have anything else on the what that you would like to add?
The what? I want to say also be flexible on what you offer, because that will grow in time. You may say, I only want to offer tarot readings, and then you get a deck of oracle cards, angel cards, and you realize, oh, I want to offer angel readings too. So be flexible, have that space open for the business to morph and change and grow.
Also, I'd like to add, like if you are building an online presence, it may be difficult for the viewers or for the clients in the beginning to accept your complexity. Sometimes they need to put a stamp on you. Sometimes they need to understand what you stand for before they can accept that you are actually a creative person that has various talents, because all of us do have more than just one talent. But sometimes it's easier to focus on one thing and to do this right before you grow into something else. This is something I experience. I don't know, maybe it's different for you, but this is what I experience.
Yeah, get comfortable with what you want to offer, and then bring in more when you're ready.
Yes.
And I think one mistake some people in a spiritual business, a mistake they may make, is that they want to offer too much at once, and they don't know how to manage it. And either you just give up, it doesn't work out, or you get exhausted because you're trying to do this and that and everything else. So don't overburden yourself with your goals.
Yes, keep in mind it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah. And that's personal boundaries. What can you manage? What is enough, but not too much? And is that offering your clients what you want to offer?
And do you feel comfortable with it?
Yes.
Because I have many ideas, but once I think them through, they may not seem that great after all, because I don't see myself really roll them out. So it's a learning curve.
And another thing to think about, are you offering something that's authentic to you?
Yes.
Are you presenting something that is yours? Even if you're just offering Celtic Cross Tarot readings, are they from you? And do ask yourself, are you trying to be like someone else?
Yes. Especially in the beginning, it's not that easy to actually know what type of business you have or who you are in this new field, because it's new. So I think it's important to have your reference points, to be inspired by others, but don't copy them.
Yeah.
Like not the best version anyway. So
yeah. And you'll grow into your role. You'll grow into it and just trust your own guidance.
Yes, and it's
Trust your own
scared at the beginning because it's a scary process. It's new. It's a change, and every change is like you need to stay curious and have the courage to grow into this new person you will become.
Yeah. So I think we'll wrap up part 2 here. Questions for you viewers out there, for those of you thinking of starting a spiritual business, continue asking yourself, okay, why am I doing this? What do I have to offer? What do I want to offer? And what am I worth? What is my service worth?
What are my boundaries? What's the limit? What are my ethics?
Mm-hmm. How do I have boundaries for my clients? How much extra time and energy do I have? Am I willing to put into the client outside of the reading itself? What is manageable? And what doesn't exhaust me is a question to ask yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for viewing, and stay tuned for part 3.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.